So far we've had AI killing us, we had AI having sex with us, we've had AI kidnapping people, robbing banks, whatever. But now we have AI blackmailing us. Hello my beautiful geekies, welcome to the review for Westworld Episode 6, The Adversary. The thread line through this episode is Mavis. She starts convincing this guy to tell her everything about Westworld and the inner workings of this, what is really going on. He shows her the place around. He shows us how people create the robots, how they design the narratives, the storylines, how they design each and every single one of the hosts, how they program it, how they program the world. She sees rehearsal of the guys having fights in bars. She sees rehearsals of people having fun upstairs, if you know what I mean. But the horror really kicks in when she sees the images of her nightmare, which means her past life, and she sees her and her little daughter in some screens promoting Westworld. And then she starts having some new questions and asking the guy, what is that and how can people see her nightmare? And he explains it to her, those are memories, she's programmed, she's not a human like other people. And so she sees on this little board how her programming is made. She sees her lines, she sees her improvisation skills, and then she starts really freaking out. Until the other asshole comes in, he starts just laying in on the other guy. Poor guy, that dude's an asshole. And then he says they're friends? I don't think so. I don't think they could ever be friends. I wouldn't be friends with that guy. And so Mavis threatens him. He's going to do whatever she wants. He's not going to tell anyone what he saw. Not gonna get her or his friend in any trouble. And so she starts playing with her attributes. She tells them to change her attributes, change her loyalty, change her courage, change her perception. And that's when everything changes because of two single aspects. One is because now we have a whole new Mavis. She now understands everything, and as she says by the end of this episode, we're going to have some fun. And the other aspect, which I'll delve more into as I go along with this review, is that someone has been mixing her up all along, and in a big way. Someone has already been twitching her attributes around, and we don't know how they've changed. We don't know what has changed, how big the changes were, but we sure will find out probably in 2 episodes is my guess. Let's go to Bernard right now. In the beginning of this episode, he's still investigating what that little piece of metal was found in the stray. And so he goes downstairs to a floor that is completely destroyed. And I really wish we could see an episode telling us what went on down there. And so he goes to an old computer, he connects it to the new system, and he finds out what older hosts had the same issue. And he finds 5 of them in total, and they are not in the new system. I'm not sure if those are 5 hosts in total, and that includes the stray, or if those are 5 hosts that he doesn't know about besides the stray. But that is very interesting, because after that he goes to Teresa. She tells him it's over between them because Robert knows, and then Bernard continues to investigate until he comes upon this house with 2 little boys, a woman, a man, and their dog. And he asks the man, are you Arnold? The guy just flips out. He wants him out of his house. This is private property. He's about to put a beating on Bernard until Robert suddenly is there and stops everything, because these hosts were not answering to Bernard's call. They just were not. And Robert stops them, and we see that this is Robert's family. And that little boy, a few weeks ago I said that looked a little like Anthony Hopkins, and I mean in the way the scene was built and the tone of the scene itself, it is. Anthony Hopkins built these hosts just for him to live in the past, and he asks Bernard if he wouldn't do the same if he could just see his son one more day. Well, Bernard is not for this right now, so he goes away, he continues to investigate, he goes to talk to Teresa a little bit about their relationship, and suddenly he gets a call from Elsie, and she tells him that Teresa was one of the people who has been mixing around with the hosts, the Stray, and others who have been mixed around with. She's at an old theater, an abandoned one, who no one goes there. She's investigated, and she finds out that Arnold has also been twitching around with the hosts, which is very strange because Arnold is dead. And so Elsie continues to investigate, but suddenly, of course, in a dark theater where she is alone, suddenly she gets taken because someone enters the theater and takes her away. She asks for Bernard, she asks for Arnold, and that almost felt like a cue for whoever kidnapped her to do so, because she asks Bernard, we see a few steps, we're not sure if it's hers or the person's that is going to kidnap her, and when she says Bernard, it's almost as if the person hears the name, takes another step closer, like immediately, again as a cue to do so. Might be nothing, I may be reading more into this than is necessary, but still, it's interesting to think about it. Let's go to our favorite tag team, Teddy and the Man in Black. They're still searching for Wyatt and for the maze. They have a very interesting conversation about the maze, and Teddy believes that the maze is a metaphor for a man's life. The choices he makes throughout his life construct the maze around, and there's a legendary man at the top that will tell what his life was all about. Keeps dying and coming back to life. I find that very interesting because it can be Arnold. It can be the Man in Black in some weird way, if he is indeed William, which we do not get at all this week, and I think they did that very much on purpose. There is a purpose to us missing Dolores and William in this episode, and I think they will keep another episode without them next week. And so they find a Confederate camp, they take 2 uniforms away, and suddenly one of the guys recognizes Teddy, and so they are ambushed and arrested. And I find this detail very interesting. The Man in Black doesn't take his gloves off. No one is wearing gloves. And this is a very important detail because if you really wanted to blend in, and if the gloves weren't important or didn't mean anything to him, were just a detail to make him be the Man in Black, I think you would have taken the gloves off. So I think it's very important that we notice that he kept the gloves on. There's a reason for him not to take the gloves off, and I really want to find out what it is. And so they are arrested, they are ambushed, they are trapped, they are tied up, and the guys are going to stamp the maze into Teddy's chest. And Teddy remembers when he and Wyatt pulled off that massacre in the town together, and Teddy just slays down the camp of Confederates. He goes into the top of a carriage, he goes into the machine gun, and he just lays waste to every freaking one. Even the Man in Black is like, damn son, I thought I knew you. And Teddy, nope, you don't know me. Let's go, we got stuff to do, let's go find Wyatt, I want to kill that some bitch. But this is the last detail in this episode. By the end of this episode, Anthony Hopkins goes with his young robot self to the forest, and he wants to play catch with him and the family dog. Well, the family dog is dead. And when Anthony Hopkins asks himself what happened, the kid tells him that he just found the dog like that. And Anthony Hopkins starts the analysis. And the kid tells him that he did it. He killed the dog. Anthony Hopkins asks if he is lying. And he says, yes. Who told him to lie? Arnold. I think Arnold is right now the legendary man inside the maze. The maze is going to be found, the Man in Black is going in there, and Arnold will be there surrounded by computers, which will flip us the hell out. There will be more to that. I just can't imagine what it is. This will be a man who controls life and death. But of course we can see when Bernard is searching in his little pad that Dolores is one of the classic hosts, which Arnold himself created and designed. I believe right now, many people that we believe are humans will be hosts, and many people we believe are hosts will be human, because we have a very important line in this episode, which I just went by a few minutes ago, and that is the Man in Black saying to Teddy, when you think you know someone. Well, I'm guessing, my friends, that we don't know anyone in this show, truly. And Mavis now is going to flip the game around as well. I am sure she and Dolores, or she and the Men in Black, if they happen to meet before the end of the season, will flip the game, and now we see it throughout. We see Anthony Hopkins play with his little schematics throughout. We see him stopping everything whenever he wants. We see him holding on to that village at the beginning, which I think is also very important. And who knows, we might have already seen Arnold. We might not see Arnold at all in this season. We might just end the season with the Men in Black entering the maze and say, "You," and everything goes black suddenly without us seeing Arnold. Who kidnapped Elsie? Was it Arnold? Was it another stray that Arnold sent there to kidnap her? Let me know your theories in the comments below, my beautiful geekies. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I love discussing Westworld with you. These analysis videos are always the ones who get the most conversations ongoing, and I thank you for that. But besides sharing your theories, also let me know your questions for the Fantastic Moana Q&A. Just hashtag Fantastic Moana Q&A in the comments below and ask me how many questions you want about anything you want. Ask me anything and there will be a giveaway, and of course you might win something on that. And if you like this review and analysis, keep sharing and liking the video. That is a big way for you guys to help me out. And subscribe if you haven't, to discuss Westworld with a beautiful geeky community, or we can be geeky united. Once more, thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay geeky. Cheers!